looks like we are divided here on the panel, but game number 3, MLP and John, please take it away.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are into game number 3 between OB.Neon and SMG. And John, as you could hear, the panel was quite split on who they think will take out this game 3. So I'll ask you, who do you think is going to take out game 3 based on these drafts?
I think it's pretty close. You've got a lot of combinations from SMG. Double Roar really stands out as one piece of control they can play with, but you do give Palos this gyrocopter, which he loves. He played it from his time a little bit while he was playing on Boom. Remember that? Where they had Scam running with the IO. He'd go for the Chrysalis. He went for this ridiculous build of like a 0-1-2 stats build on gyrocopter, kind of going for the late game, so they could opt for that. There's a lot of flexibility there.
Narman's gonna Sakuchi away just fine. So SMG, they'll have a look around for another. It was a 5-on-5 smoke situation going on. Of course, both teams already placing their mid observer wards down already, so they got what they wanted in the end, I suppose. But SMG, they still seem to want to try and force a fight level 1. Classic SCA fashion, of course, and naturally they did have the vision advantage with the Hawks out, but now they're gone, and it does seem like SMG, they'll relegate themselves back to their high ground and maybe just secure those bounty runes. It doesn't seem like we're going to see a big 5v5 level 1 team fight.
Not quite yet. They might struggle a bit for the runes. No one's in position for Neon to take the top rune spot, so gotta have to sneak up there to get the even trade. Will break out even. Should be an interesting time seeing these lanes break out. Like, I am keen to see what build Palos goes for, because he tends to be really shifting around on that gyrocopter, and I think that's going to be really important. Whether or not they want to play this faster pace with the gyro or the slower pace, they are actually going for lane swaps here across the board. So Palos is going up top with Narman and Beng, whereas we're seeing MidOne walk all the way bot lane as well. So they're shifting things out here, trying to go for different matchups that will still end up being the support Tide and the Beastmaster up against the gyro, so the gyro can still kind of clear out those boars, and it's going to be a trial lane start for Neon, perhaps looking to be aggressive, looking for maybe a first blood opportunity. Palos is not skilled up yet, so they can opt to go for something with more damage, maybe going for the rocket barrage or homing missile to set up, but Abeng will break it off and split into the dual lanes. So yeah, Palos taking that offensive off lane. Same with MidOne playing bot lane on the TA with Afu. Not quite the Inkswell combo you'd want to play with here. Like, having that Grimstroke and TA is not really the most aggressive lane on hand. I think that is manageable enough for Enryu. It's a Doom against TA. You can burn through Refraction in lane with a Scorched Earth as well. So I think Doom is actually pretty happy with these lane swaps. I'm wondering if SMG wants to hold on to that one.
Certainly so. I mean, well, right now, it does seem like OB.Neon are more than happy to just remain with their gyrocopter up the top lane along with Narman. Kind of hard to see them catching out Raging or Roger, but I suppose if they do find someone out of position, can just kind of burst them down the rocket barrage. Otherwise, I imagine it might just turn into a bit of a farming lane between these two. Can have a look at the mid lane as well. Moon, of course, against Mamang Daya. Is favoring Mamang Daya right now, but it is still a very even kind of matchup between these two. I'd say that the laner should still have a pretty decent advantage into the quap, but Moon, he has played this matchup many times before, and he does seem to know how to deal with it. So I'm not too concerned here about the Queen of Pain either.
Yeah, Moon does go for the Shadow Strike build again, kind of emphasizing some harassment onto Mamang Daya. The slow is very useful, the healing is also really nice to sustain himself just a bit more. He is going to be lacking a bit in wave clear in comparison to Mamang Daya. Dragon Save is going to make short work of the creeps as they come up. So that is something to watch out for, but as long as you secure your CS, you're not going to mind too much. So back and forth lane, emphasis on the water runes down the line. We'll see if the supports can get those early rotations out. In that sense, I think you might still have a better time. With SMG, just having a Grimstroke can be really threatening, especially about a quap. So the combination is there to play aggressive on the 2-minute or 4-minute runes when they do come out, 6-minute runes as well. And that could be something that SMG considers if the lanes open up a bit more.
Still very quiet across the map, and no kills happening yet, no first blood drawn. I suppose the bot lane is probably where the highest chances of first blood happening. So like you mentioned, John, you haven't got the greatest Inkswell combo there with MidOne. It can be kind of nice, right? If you close the gap with the Inkswell into the Meld Strike, I guess it's some sort of a combination, but definitely not the easiest to land on Tenryu. How Bang feels so confident this Doom will be fine. He's just started walking off already, looking for that boundary and across the other side into the dire triangle. And gonna be able to take this one off Moon. Nice little pick up there from a Bang. Moon not gonna have that free bottle refill later on. Though again, Moon, he just seems perfectly fine in this mid lane. He's not too concerned about the laner, not really taking any harass. In fact, he's just farming way ahead of the laner right now. Among Dire just unable to keep up.
I think the big difference is the attack animation of Quap is a lot better than Lena's when she doesn't have her Fiery Soul stacked up. So it's easier for Moon to just directly trade CS there, even without the Scream of Pain to really clear it out fast. There is a bit of a back and forth trade with Afu and Abeng, just kind of trying to zone each other out. This space is leading to a lot of farm coming out for MidOne. Like, this lane is, again, back and forth one with the Doom, and Ryu has to be a bit careful of the meld. He does have a lot of armor on hand with the chainmail and ring of protection. So he did opt to buy those early on, just to kind of hold himself in the lane. But it also doesn't stop MidOne from farming. So you're farming up in the Doom, but you're also allowing the TA to get a pretty smooth ramp up in this lane. Should lead to a fast Dragon Lance, and once you have that, the jungle kind of opens up for the TA with the stats, so you can kind of try to build up your win condition on that hero later on.
King's coming out for MidOne though. A Bang might be able to sit up here with the Nightmare and does think about it, but with just the Doom, without that level 6 up on Enryu yet, I just doubt you have any chance of actually killing MidOne off. Unless you're expecting a rotation from Among Dire, but it's still a bit too early for the mid laners to even think about rotating. Like, they're gonna try anyway. A Bang now being chased down by MidOne. MidOne getting a fair bit of damage off, but without the Inksport connecting, can he really get this done? Oh, never mind, John. He might be able to get it done as a Bang does Fairy Fire up, but MidOne, he'll clap right in front of him as Brain Sap is there. But fun fact, John, Brain Sap does not heal if you don't deal the damage.
Yeah, that's rather unfortunate for Abeng. He does buy a lot of space out, dragging MidOne away from the creep wave, and Roger's forced to rotate in as well. So the Dragon Tide are running a bit of a trial in themselves.
Oh, Moon, that was a very aggressive play, but he may make it. Narman, Swarm's gonna connect. Moon's out of mana. He has not got the blink up, and he's gonna drop. Great rotation in from Narman to punish that aggressive maneuver by Moon. The end Among Dire, he survives throughout all of this.
They managed to keep that Lina alive, giving her level 6, using that Laguna, managing to make it work their way. The supports do rotate mid. That's 2 supports mid, opening up the bot lane a lot more, so Enryu's kind of held back, but it's a Doom. You can play with Devour anyway, doesn't mind us too much. You do have to consider the space giving out to MidOne, as our TA is really starting to build up here. But you could say the same about Palos.
Bang. The chase down here, Moon barely able to get that double damage rune off of the Bane, and that'll be a bit of revenge here for the Queen of Pain. He does find his first kill of the game.
Radiant have
Roger,
fortified their structures against
he'll
attack.
stick around, just get a few D wards off while he's here. Not too much else a Tide can do with level 2 Gush, but get something done.
Yep. And again, like, while all of that support focuses on mid, that does kind of allow both these safe lane or pause 1 cores to kind of build up. You are seeing MidOne a bit ahead of Palos, but Palos can kind of gap close that farm difference with flash farm jungle with a flak, so it's not the most worrying sign. He already has the Falcon Blade up on Palos as well, so you can kind of hold that lane against Raging. Raging does have the Roar, isn't too far off from the Dominator, so your Beastmaster is kind of set to start pushing a lane if he does change it up. If he does want to commit on bot, shouldn't take too long to maybe roar up the Doom, get a tower in exchange. That will open up Neon to make plays top, as that tower is already almost at less than 1,000 HP, so it shouldn't take too much of a shove left from the Gyrocopter to kind of get that trade. So really even in terms of the objectives on the map, in terms of the economy as well. There is a smoke play coming through from Neon though. Among Dire does have the Laguna ready for the bot lane.
Smoke broken on a Bang, however. Fu gonna be able to break the one Among Dire, so they'll keep making their way down bot. Enryu gonna be jumped here by Roger. He'll be the one to break the smoke here for MidOne. It's not quite the target they want, but they might have to settle. In fact, they may not even be able to settle. In fact, top lane Palos does end up going down to Moon, so just kills happening across the map right now, and they finally end up killing off Roger. So 1 for 1 across the map. Certainly in the favor, however, of SMG.
A much bigger kill, slowing down Palos. They don't lose MidOne in exchange. And dropping Roger, he's kind of used to it. We saw it in game 2. It's a highly sacrificial Tide. He had a slow start. You don't need too much on the Tide. It's really just levels. So you're fine throwing your body away for the TA to kind of survive and keep farming up. And that movement did cost Neon quite some time. They're not farming up in Mamgaya. You know, you're starting to lose some ground here on the Gyrocopter, about an 800 gold difference with the TA, so you are getting some good news. Raging is dropping low. They managed to isolate out that Beastmaster at the least. So they do manage to get some space back on top lane as punishment. And I guess the good news there is that Enryu hasn't died recently as well. So in that sense, your greedier offlane in Doom is still set to get this good timing on the Midas down the line. The issue then for Neon is they've got to play a bit of a slower game. They do have a Gyrocopter that needs time to farm up, Doom that needs time to farm up, even the Lina after the travels is going to need some levels to really get the burst damage off, and that should open up some possibilities for SMG. Like, they really just lack support levels. Afu 6, Roger 6 is really big ones. After that, you can just look for a push, look for the team fights, and start running.
Bang. Slowed up here by Roger, and of course the ball slow as well from Raging. They even commit the rule for this. I don't know if that was quite necessary, but I suppose you're better safe than sorry. Raging, he'll just get it done, and I suppose that could just lead into a bottom tier 1 tower push. MidOne is still around to help out with that. Of course, in the meantime, the top tier 1 is also dropping, and Afu now could be in danger, but no. Barely getting the TP off. He'll get the tip from Roger. It'll still be a 1-for-1 in terms of tier 1 towers, but you've got to be happy with that if you're SMG.
You're rather unfortunate, just a bit slow on the homing missile. No Infernal Blade from Enryu as well to cancel off Blinks. They lose out on the kill opportunity. Tower trade still comes out as you mentioned, Mike, but I feel like this is a lot better for SMG. They've got Raging Potato who can just keep vision up on the bot jungle, open it up a lot more for MidOne to farm, securing their triangle farm as well. And the TA is already getting to work. Again, with the Dragon's Lance up, the stats are comfy enough that you can take care of these stacks by yourself. And leading into that ramp up of the Deso. Raging is getting a response out though.
Gonna try.
Radiant should look to their
OB.Neon. I mean, missile will be there. Into the cooldown and Raging Potato. Oh, he's not gonna have any hope around. So another nice pickup here for Palos and OB.Neon. However, Moon now's rotated, trying to go at least after a bang. Nice deny though, Palos. Quick on the fingers there, does end up killing off the Bane. It's like SMG, they'll get nothing for the death of Raging Potato.
Yeah, still buying out space though. I think when you consider the farm on these pause 1s, you are getting a little bit more from MidOne. He's not having to show up for those ganks. He's playing in the jungle. Palos is having to show up to provide some early damage. And that is cutting off from his time in the jungle, cutting off from his time to escalate on Gyrocopter. He is rushing for an early BKB here, so he wants to be that faster core. He wants to show up to these fights. And maybe by that point, Neon might be aligned to kind of take them. You know, the Travels are flying in from Amangdaya. He's a lot faster. He's going to be all over the map now. You are already at the Midas for Enryu, so the Blink's not too far off. Once those items all kind of line up together with a BKB, that should be Neon's opening to play that much faster draft they want to.
Oh, they've got the Satyr Banisher. Nice little purge out thanks to Raging Potato, and that'll allow the easiest inswell of their lives as they will be able to pick up Enryu. You know, speaking of Enryu, John, his farm isn't that impressive this game. And considering he's playing the Doom and he has the Midas up, it just hasn't amounted to as much net worth as you would have hoped for. And now Ravage is going to fly out and does connect with Narman with the Sonic Wave and the Roar up to a bang. They'll take down both supports of OB.Neon.
Yeah, that's worthwhile. If you're not envisioning yourself taking a big team fight with all of the cores lining up there from Neon, you just blow up the supports, opening up the mid lane push. They've got the numbers to kind of get that done. The respawns are short though. Enryu's back on mid. They've got Doom for the defense. They just kind of need to find a target to gap close onto.
Tier 1 mid tower, not going to last very long unless they can make the plays in, but the Doom, and when it's available, Enryu's just going to find a target he wants. It's not going to be Roger. They'll still chase him down and just commit the Laguna to be able to get this kill. The tier 1 mid tower, however, does drop. So you lost your pulse 5 tide, but you got the mid tier 1 tower. I'd call that worth for the dive.
Yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. Again, Roger doesn't mind throwing his body away. He's used to it from game 2. He doesn't need much on the tide to really get going. Just needs to slowly build towards that blink. Palos is playing on the opposite side of the map though, but that is under vision. So SMG are well aware that Palos is clearing out some of their camps. That does allow MidOne to just keep playing bot. The Deso timing on our TA is about to line up, Mike. And from that point, with just Dragonlance Deso, we know a lot of TAs want to take a team fight, go for a push. And that's when it starts to line up. Go for a push with a Roshan. That will just really open up once that's available. A bit of a chase onto Norman. Very slippery Weaver. He is cutting off the creep line as well. That is forcing SMG back just a tad. And I do worry about the fact that Neon still need a little bit more time to cook up. Like, there is a BKB for Mamang Daya coming out soon as well. But just the Doom alone without that protection and chorus makes it a bit tough to kind of find a follow-up for that Doom, and Enryu hasn't opted to use that spell at all, so they need to just look for that opening, get the blink out onto Enryu. As you said, Mike, it's been a bit slow for the Doom. He's not too far behind Moon, but normally as the Doom, you're generally #1 net worth at this point.
Certainly so, John. Right now, MidOne is well and truly ahead of everybody else in this TA. He's not really struggling whatsoever here, just having the freest game of his life. You do finally have the blink up though on Enryu, and that might be about time for them to smoke up and try to make some plays happen. Smoke up here with the bang. Moon is showing down a bot lane, so they could certainly go for him on this Queen of Pain. He does back off in time. I mean, the chase is certainly on. Enryu and a bang, just trying to find the angle to move in. Well, they might find him too, Moon. Does he go back for that large cap? He does. This could cost him as Enryu. He's going to be able to get the easiest Doom of his life. But can they secure the kill now? There was a trap to slow them down at the turnaround. Moon's going to give the vision for MidOne to make his way over and try to chase down this Doom. So eventually the Doom is going to wear off on Moon. And it amounts to nothing.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Just bit tankier than you'd expect in the Quap with a Sanj already up. So that added stat resist, added strength does make it a little bit harder to burst it down to that Doom. And rather unfortunate for Neon. That's a massive spell to throw out. That's the blink reveal as well on Enryu. So now SMG's got that info. They smoke up. MidOne does have the Deso. They could try to sneak the Roshan. That looks to be the play. They've got a lot of minus armor. Maybe sneak around for a kill first.
Oh, nice soul bind Afu. He's found 2 great targets. A bang just melts, and there goes Enryu. Great soul bind out from our Grimstroke. And that'll pretty much guarantee Roshan to go the way of SMG now.
Yep. Not gonna take long. Beastmaster Aura, TA Desolator. Roshan just melts. Very quick Rosh coming out for the side of SMG. OB.Neon don't really have a play there. Narman's hanging around the area. Can't really just Shukuchi in and steal. So you have to deal with a second life now on MidOne. At the least, some good news for Neon is that they've got some of those early BKBs up. So it's up and running on Palos. He can show up to these fights. Next question is, will they have enough damage just with a BKB on the Gyrocopter? Compared to MidOne, doesn't feel like you're going to do as much as the TA here.
Feels like you could do nothing, John. I mean, you could survive through the initial onslaught, but in terms of damage output, you're not going to have much. And speaking of damage, someone who does have plenty of damage is MidOne. Raging Potato able to set up for that Weaver kill. But I do agree with the point you were making. I mean, OB.Neon, they certainly need to buy a lot more time here for Palos, I think. That they have smoked up, but Roger's going to be there to break the smoke. And even then, even with nightmaring up Roger, I don't think you can fight. Not into the Ravage. They've just got to try and find a way out, but no, they're going to make the jump in. Onto MidOne they go. Keep in mind, he does have the Aegis up. The Fiend's Grip is there. They've caught Moon, but the Ravage is going to save it now. A huge Sonic Wave out. Moon connects on absolutely everyone. Oh, Narman, he's going to try and clean up here for the team, but there's no one to really go after. He'll try after Roger, but it's a full team wipe.
Radiant's top tower is under
Just a perfect Ravage into a perfect Sonic Wave. You love to see it.
I'm just surprised Neon still forced that fight. The smoke broke on Aubing, as we saw by Roger. They still ran into the left side of this tier 1, setting up for an engagement, but SMG had the info to play with. So they just snuck their way in through the backside, got the positioning right, and managed to punish Neon for being forced to fight. I think the main reason Neon wants to fight is because they opted for a BKB build on Gyro. So you're not really farming with that item. You have to fight with that item. You have to fight with that spell immunity. But SMG has a lot of ways of ripping through that. Like the Sonic Wave still deals damage through it. You've got the Roar to maybe even pin down the Gyro if he's in target, if he's an issue. They do manage to at least sneak away the DD, but Opping's gonna pay with his life.
That he is. Suppose with the way this game's gone so far for OB.Neon, you'd rather just deny everything you can from SMG. DD room being included, but pretty rough position now for OB.Neon. You need some form of damage on Palos. This is an Aghanim Labyrinth, John, that's for sure. As Roger, he's going to make the jump in. Mamangdaya already just melting so darn quick, but they've got MidOne now. They'll get through at least the Aegis, I think. As MidOne, he'll keep trying to fight. That'll be one life gone. Into the Soulbind and the double gush. That's going to force out the BKB usage of Palos. MidOne, though, he's not done. He does miss uphill, but Enryu still gets wiped out by Moon. Scream was enough. I think they might actually be able to move into that tier 2 mid if they so wish.
They've got the melting potential with the TA. Doesn't take too long to shove in. They might catch in the backline here.
Oh, Beach Grit. Oh, who needs a stun, right? Who needs a stun when you've got Meld? Moon, he may have gone too far this time, but a big Sonic Wave out. Roger, he does clean up Mamangdaya, and Palos, well, he's going to be able to go back to the fountain. That's some good news for OB.Neon, John, but it's a 2-for-4 trade. And that mid-tier 2 tower is still going down. You do have the rotation in from Enryu, but the blink away is there. They are safe.
Yeah, and it's a massive start now for SMG. 7k lead at 19 minutes. Well and truly ahead on MidOne and Moon. Sacrificing Raging's farm once again, but not by much. You're at the point where the Beastmaster has more farm than the Doom Mike. Enryu, with the Midas, with the Devour, is just not getting enough space out. He's just constantly targeted down, and he is fairly squishy for the TA to deal with. He doesn't have much armor yet, so it makes it really easy for MidOne to just rip through and everyone else to follow up. SMG, they've got this massive lead. They've got map control. They've got really good forward wards watching behind the tier 2 spots. They can kind of opt to take a position on the triangle. They will smoke up. They've got Ravage, no Roar. Soulbind and Roar are almost off cooldown, so this is a good time to force that fight.
Absolutely. MidOne, he'll move in and bang. He's going to get spotted immediately and just, man, that damage. Way too much for the Bane to handle. Palos, he's going to be okay. Does TP out.
Oh, Enryu. He walked into a trap.
Whoopsie. Enryu, not so safe anymore as Raging. Gonna get plenty of vision out with the Hawk, and oh, there goes your Doom. No issue here for SMG. They immediately go for a 5-man smoke up. Where do you head though? I mean, there's no Roshan. Maybe it's just right into the Radiant Triangle. But that's where they've got to be right now.
Yeah. They just need to
MidOne, he wanted the gyrocopter, and he did guess exactly where he would be, but he'd already backed off as Narman. He's going to try and find his own way out of this, but the Roar is there. And it's going to be another great set of kills here for SMG. 6k net worth advantage now. OB.Neon. This Gyro, John, he's trying. Palos, he's getting close to the Ags up, but even with that, I still doubt he has enough damage.
No, it's definitely not enough. You need a lot more. You need maybe a Chrysalis build-up into Silver Edge or Daedalus. Tends to kind of fix it up for the Gyrocopter at that point, but that's still a long ways off. SMG cutting off the triangle as you'd expect with a mid-tier 2 gone. Makes it a lot easier to force OB.Neon in bad spot, and they've even got the BKB now on MidOne. There's a smoke play coming out from Neon, though. They've got Doom ready. They just really need to find a good target to jump first.
Would be Neon right towards Moon, but he's just going to blink away to the other side of the map, and SMG, they're more than happy to start a fight right now. It'd be a very awkward scenario for OB.Neon as they have to move into the high ground now of their own triangle. Enryu's going to try and find a Doom target. Meanwhile, SMG still keep moving back, but now they've got the vision. MidOne, he'll jump in with the BKB out. Beans Rip immediately cancelled with the Ravage out from Roger. They've lost Upping, they've lost Narman, they might just lose Palos. He's got nowhere to go. They get the Aegis, I guess. No Aegis, never mind. Just nobody died. Mama Dine's gone now. It's a full teamwork, John.
It was a really broken up fight from Neon. SMG were in good position. They were on the high ground. They forced the fight up on Neon's end. They did get the Doom off. They didn't have the follow-up. They doomed up Raging Potato in the back. But it was just so split up. Neon's focus was way too split. They need to jump in together as a unit. Focus on one target. Break off some of the combinations of SMG. But SMG's position was just perfect. They were very split up. That forced the movement from Neon. And off the back of that, high ground opens up. Mid rack's gonna fall. Top rack's next. Not much Neon can do. They don't have grip. They don't have Doom on to respawn, so it's all down to just trying to force them out with Lina and Gyrocopter damage.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Top racks will fall just as quickly as the mid one. Excuse my pun, John. Didn't actually intend that one. It's SMG will back off. You didn't even pick up on that one, did you, John? You didn't even hear it.
Right when you said it, you know, that's like, oh, there you go. You know,
that was accidental, John.
It's beautiful. You know, that's how we make a lot of stuff happen. Like happy little accidents with you and me. Still, what's not an accident is SMG having this 15k lead. Very calculated plays coming out from them, punishing Neon for again going for more aggressive buildups. Early BKB on Gyrocopter just didn't pan out, and side of SMG now just have control over this sector on the map. The triangle stairs, top and mid lane stairs, bot lane's the only area Neon can play, and there's some jungle to farm there. At the least, you are getting some more build-up, some more catch-up from Enryu, but he is still behind Raging Potato in terms of farm. Like, Doom being behind anyone's just not a good sign. So I think Neon's gotta find a way to claw it back. The Ags is gonna be a start for Palos, almost there. He's gonna need way more on top, as we mentioned, Mike. Even Mamang Daya, it feels like he needs to transition to a much bigger core, but he's only got the Shadow Blade. He really needs the Silver Edge to start getting those big hits off as the Lina, and that's also still a ways off here, Mike.
You don't have to tell me, John. 15k net worth advantage here for SMG, just a very hard game. I mean, there's your Ags up on Palos, but well, you and I both agreed this was going to be nowhere near enough. I mean, you're still looking for that big damage item as bot lane looks like they have found somebody. Moon, unable to get the job done. So Enryu barely able to get out with his life intact. And it looks like the rest of SMG, they are still posturing for that top lane of barracks. Roshan's still over and away, and now the Raw's out. They've got the primary target. The Metal Talos gone. They just could not react quick enough to help him. He's got no buyback, John. He just finished the Ags up. Tips out.
Yep, and that's gonna clean up the mid. They can't take bot, but they can go for the kill. Remember, the last time we saw this situation, 3v5, Neon managed to hold on, but they don't have the same tools as they did in game 2, so I think SMG should be able to just force the issue if they want. Fortify is already gone. The damage coming through from MidOne's a bit too much, and they have Doom. They just need to find someone.
Oh, no, they don't, John.
Boy.
They do not have Doom anymore. It goes right into the Lincoln Sphere. MidOne, he'll clean up Enryu. Mamang Daya, BKB up, just trying to get out, but Raging is there with the axes. Not quite enough. To make matters worse, MidOne, he's got the Daedalus up now, so it's even more damage. They are still fighting. Moon is...
Fountain dive, John. Fountain dive, used the Ghost Scepter. Got punished.
Well, beautiful. Roger. Well, he's going to end up dying now as well. I think the SMG fans, John, they might be getting a bit of PTSD from game 2.
He fountain dive. I'm sorry. It's I get the consonants from SMG. We heard, you know, in the TNC player matchup, Young God did say that's something from SMG that you can look to kind of work against themselves. Still, SMG's not in a bad spot. They only lose 2 heroes. One of them's to support. Roshan is still up. They can clear it out with a Granite Golden to buff them up as well. Not going to take long. That's free Ag Shard coming through as well. So the Hawk Dives could come out for Raging. Looks like MidOne will hold onto it for now. Now he'll take it. Psionic Traps with the silence is pretty big. Now they can look to kind of re-engage. Respawn's not too far off. They've still got the big network advantage here.
Oh, look at that. I mean, look at it. Oh my goodness. All right, there goes Enryu. Bang's been slowing up. They're just being chased up by creeps right now. Oh yeah, Bang. MidOne gets a double kill. Didn't take much effort, I'll tell you that. As poor old Mumung Dai is going to try and split push the top lane while he still has a chance, but there's only so much the man can do on his own, as they found another target and they've got Palace this time. BKB or not, he just needs to run. They're back onto the Ancient now. SMG, they understand how far ahead they are. Soulbind's out. The double roar connecting. Mumung Dai is going straight to the graveyard with a great Ravage from Roger. There's your Sonic Wave from Moon as well. No fountain diving this time around. Just all business as they go back into the Ancient. They might be able to get Moon, but they can't get this game 3. SMG will take it 2-1. OB.Neon. Bit of a difficult scenario for them in this Division 1, John. See how things go over the next couple days.